Alright, so we're back again with our second roster review. Apparently these things have some traction. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. We're going to be reviewing our good friend Tom's roster. So let's check out and see where he's at.
So pulling that on up, we have Tom. Tom plays SWGoH. Tom plays SWGoH is part of the R2-D2 mob, and they are currently in Bronzium 4. So we'll look into this. They do have Galactic Legend Leia as shown on their arena, as well as they're getting 184 in fleet rank, running the Executrix. So we're definitely going to have to see what we can do there. Maybe help them out with their daily ration of crystals, figure out some of their fleet metrics. So diving right on in, first thing, let's go ahead and get into that fleet. Look at it. Okay, so on the surface, we do have Han's Falcon to 5 stars. That means we probably don't have our Jedi Knight Luke farm done yet. Obviously, might be a path to go. Houndstooth, loving that. Having the Houndstooth at 7 star. Obviously, a very heavy lifting ship early on, so we need to maybe get that employed a little bit into helping them in their fleets. Looks like we have the budding pieces of maybe with Xandu Blood. So yeah, able to maybe build some kind of a fleet there, bounty hunter-ish. I'm not saying we'll go for the Executor until we get into this and look at it, but we do have the early pieces. To that point, let's just go ahead and call it out. Do we have a punishing one? Okay, so we have a 4-star punishing one, so that's something. Obviously, being that that is a fleet energy farm, might be something we divert and do as we get into this. We'll see. But the Houndstooth and Slave 1, having those early on definitely matters, especially when you're only at 3 million galactic power. So it looks like a very early-ish account. So far, just going off these ships. Back to our capital ships. So we do have the ability to run an endurance, but only 6 stars. So I see why we're doing the Executrix 7 star, just because we get the extra reinforcement. Chimera's unlocked, not finished. Home 1 not finished, although we do have the Relic Akbar. So might be something there. We get into looking at that. A Home 1 fleet with the Profundity ships can punch up a little bit. Endurance, if you have the Marauder, does a lot of work early on. So looking again at that, you do have the Marauder. Looks like just basic general unlock with tech there at Gear 1. So again, some stuff we need to look into with the fleets. Side shifting from fleets, let's look at the overall account itself. Going into characters, alright, so again, 3 million GP. We do have Leia Organa. So based on that, looking at it, not going to assume, but this could be a light speed bundle. Actually, it looks like maybe some of that, but not exactly, now that I'm really looking at it, due to some of the relic levels. For instance, Lobot, if you bought the bundle, would be Relic 7. He's only 3 here, which is the minimum requirement for that. Further deep diving, same with Lando, only Relic 5. The bundle makes him Relic 7. And I do believe, I can double check, maybe I'm wrong, but I want to say that the Ewoks, the C-3PO bundle, is actually 7-star relics because of the NISA requirement, and I'm seeing that Wicket and Chirpa are both bare minimum. So if you farm this without buying lightspeed bundles early on, props to you. Props to you for knocking out GL Leia this early with just straight, strict farming. That's very, very pinch in terms of what you're doing with your resources. Very focused if that's how we went. So again, congrats to you on that. But I guess the overall is, now that you have GL Leia and you're in that Bronzium, what are you trying to do? So I do see Starkiller over here. Starkiller Relic 3, a couple of Omnicrons. Is that all 3? That is all 3 Omnicrons. So good job there. So you are able to punch up quite a bit with Leia and Starkiller this early. I see how we got in the Bronzium at only 3 million. GP, so good job there. We got the SWGoH Omnicron that can do a lot of work, take out a lot of teams soloing. Coupled with that Treya, do we have the Darth Nihilus? Do we have the ability to have the Trifecta? Because that really does punch up some. Darth Nihilus, not yet. Alright, so that's something to think about, somewhere to go there, but it looks like we do have a good bulk of our Sith teams, so for that, looks like we're probably doing okay in places of power. We do have Palpatine Mara. Nihilus would help carry that as well, as go with that Treya SWGoH team, so some thoughts there early on. Looking at this, so we'll go back to the main screen here. What else do we have in terms of standout Omnicrons? Got the Wampacron, alright, not geared up yet, but we do have 7-star Wampa with an Omnicron, so there's some stuff there. And we have the Qui-Gon Jinn Omnicron. Looks like from there I don't see any others standing out in a quick scroll. So since we have Wampa, we'll go ahead and check, right? I mean, it's active right now. So you do have Focus Crons. You do have at least the Rolo level 3, so you could punch up a little bit with the team there with the non-Galactic Legend light speed teams, probably your CLS, something like that. Really does do a lot of work with that Cron right now. I see that Wampa is not past level 2. Go ahead, I would suggest, especially since this Cron does not expire until pretty much Thanksgiving. So you still got some time. You got a couple of months, month and a half, or 2 months and a half there that you're able to use this Cron. You need to at least get that level 3. That's going to help Wampa punch up. And if you can keep throwing resources in it through your conquest or whatever going on right now, I don't know where you're at with that, because obviously at 3 million you can't do hard conquest, so that puts you on the easy or normal path. Those rewards, they don't flow as easily for Datacron farming, but whatever you getting from your conquest right now, definitely need to get this thing up, unlock that level 3. If you can get to unlocking level 6, that's going to help you tremendously over the next 2 months, especially in GAC and in Territory Wars. That's why you want to at least get some of those metrics done if you unlock the full Cron and get the potential to do Wampa things in Territory Wars. So that's something that you might want to look into. Obviously, being that Datacrons, focused Datacrons included, are temporary power creep. I wouldn't say overcommit, but if you have the ability to do any kind of conquest resources right now while that's active, I'd be getting that Cron up. At least level 3, aim for level 6. So moving along, looking at this, let's just go ahead and start down the general basics for your assault battles. Assault battles are going to be the bread and butter for any account early on and even into in-game. Early on, of course, having to do the battles, and then as you unlock CT1, CT2, CT3, being able to sim. So even at in-game levels, having those resources pretty much weekly, monthly, whenever they come around, is the basis for how you're going to get by and survive in this game. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Look at our Phoenix. Phoenix, of course, will carry you in Secrets and Shadows. They also do some work in Military Might. So one of the better starting teams. Looking at this, of course, since you have Leia, you do have a Hera and a Rex up and running. So I'm going to assume you're getting at least CT2 results from Military Might, Secrets of Shadows. I say that because Secrets of Shadows is very hard to do CT3 without Night Sisters. And looking at this, even if you could do it with Phoenix, this is not a Phoenix comp that would complete that level. So let's look into that. I'll say for Military Might, level 3 is your CLS, being that you have the Leia unlock, you should be able to do that. So I'm going to assume Military Might, you're good, you're done, complete, getting those rewards. To your Secrets and Shadows, we need to see what you got for Night Sisters. Night Sisters, pretty much non-existent, so that might be something to think about here. And then let's look at our Rebel Roundup requirements. That's going to be Bounty Hunters or Imperials. Your Bounty Hunters, you do have 2, based on the fact that you've got Leia, you've got Boush. as part of that requirement. So it looks like you got Boba Fett to 8 up and running. Bosk not done yet. Bosk is still in the middle of his farming. So obviously, let's go ahead and throw that out there. Number one thing you need to do, you already have the 7-star Houndtooth. You need to get Bosk complete. You need to get Bosk up to relics. Now, you can, of course, at 4-star, at least get him to relic 3 right now if you have the ability to put some of your gear there in terms of your resources. You could do that, but long term, you're still going to want him 7-star. You're going to want this bad boy to be relic 7 or higher eventually. That ship does work. It does work at all levels. You already have it at 7-star. Do yourself a favor. Step number 1, first thing, whatever we can do to get Bosk up and running to 7-star in relics, that would be step number 1. Let's go ahead and take care of that. Hopefully you're already working on that. So step 1 there. That's going to help you with Rebel Roundup. You can do CT 1 and 2 with that. Let's look at your Imperial Troopers to see what we got there. Okay, so you got the Scout through having farmed for Leia. Admiral Piet, 7-star. Stock, 7 stars. Veers, only 5 stars. So you have some good bones here for your Imperial Trooper team for that Rebel Roundup. In order to take on CT3, again, I'm going to assume you're doing CT1, CT2 as a combination there with your Bounty Hunters, or maybe even some of these, being that Scout is there at Relic. But in order to tackle CT3, you're definitely going to need your Veers Stark combo. Also, based on the fact that where you're at, you're going to want them eventually long-term anyway for your C farm. I'm not saying that we'll pivot into C this early, but you want to go ahead and be working on those guys up to relics. So being that you have Stark and Piet and Moff Gideon already 7-star, I would say we need to get Veers. Need to go ahead and get Veers done. Get him to 7-star so we can be competing in that Rebel Roundup. Moving along, let's look at our Forest Moon requirements. That's going to be Empire for the most part. Does also have the ability to do Imperials, so working on them will carry you in that as well. But you already got your Darth Vader, your Palpatine Scout Trooper, Mara Jade. Thrawn is unlocked 7-star, not geared up yet. So Forest Moon, you should be doing well. CT2 minimum. CT3 does get a little RNG, very specific, but there are some metrics. You've got the bones here. You should be able to be knocking that out. Ground War is your Jedi, so let's go into our Jedi. That's going to be, for the most part, you've got a lot of 7-star Jedi. You've got Kyle Katarn, and that's just based on the fact that you have that Starkiller unlocked. You do have Jedi Knight Revan, so that's a nice early addition. Sub 4 million, so good job there. Jedi Knight Anakin, not done. I'm gonna be shocked. Usually most early accounts have Jedi Knight Anakin at least a 7-star after they've redone and restructured the early game there. So that is interesting to see you do not have him yet. Overall, you've got the Qui-Gon Jinn Omnicron, so I am curious why Jedi Knight Anakin is not 7-star. That is pretty much a staple. If you throw that Omnicron on Qui-Gon Jinn, you're going to need Jedi Knight Anakin, especially early game, especially since you don't have the ability to get Cam yet. You definitely need to be getting Jedi Knight Anakin done. It's an earlier node, so I would go ahead and say let's commit to that. So running down overall, let's look at it. We've given you Bosk, must be done to 7 stars. Then we've got Veers, needs to be complete to 7 stars, and Jedi Knight Anakin, 7 stars. All right, so you need to go ahead and knock out those characters. That's just going to give you some well-rounded pieces for your teams, for your assault battles. Your places of power, which takes Sith, you should probably be doing okay. Yes, again, your places of power, we touched on it earlier, you should be fine. So then that carries us to the premium assault battles, which takes Imperial, Remnants, Pirates, or the Jedi Bros. They're in-game, so obviously nothing that you want to overcommit to too early, but as soon as you could get on some of those paths. So your Imperial Remnants don't have any of the Peridia, Night Trooper, Enochs, so obviously nowhere near taking them to Relic 9, so you just have to miss out on that for a little bit. Do what you can. Long-term goal, not an immediate right now. Pirates are the new shiny thing, so probably doing nothing with that. At least you're not throwing resources into them early. That would be a waste of your resources. I know they're the new shiny, the new hotness, they're getting a big push, but it's a waste of resources. You're nowhere near ready for that, so good job in not wasting anything there. And that carries us back to our Jedis for Master Qui-Gon Padawan. So you do have him 7-star at least, so you are competing in a little bit of that assault battle. I would go ahead and recommend your 7-star character farms should be Boss, Veers, JKA. Your gear right now, all your gear, should be going towards Master Qui-Gon Padawan to get them up so you could get some of the return in that assault battle when it comes around. Now, I'm not gonna, claim that you can get them to Relic 9 early at this level, but you need to get them up as high as you can Relic levels so that you could see some return on investment from that assault battle as it comes around. You need to be getting them up. And then something to think about as well, not really a popular opinion, but you're sub 4 million GP. That means you're not competing in Proving Grounds, you're not competing in the hard conquest yet, but you should be really close, if not on the cusp of completing easy and normal, getting it done through Sector 5. I would go ahead and suggest to carry and heavy lift you as you're getting towards that 4 million gate, right? Once you get to 4 million, you can do the hard conquest. Probably not going to be able to complete it. You do have a heavy lifter there with Starkiller, and of course with Leia being able to carry you some. But you're probably not going to be able to complete it. However, the rewards for the earlier crates in hard mode are better than normal and easy. For completing those, I would suggest maybe consider throwing the Omnicron on Padawan Obi-Wan. I know it's probably not a popular take, but if you go ahead and can throw this thing on him right now, it will carry you in Conquest. I don't think it's going to show me. Yeah, it doesn't show because you don't have it unlocked. But pretty much every status effect, every buff in the game, he pretty much grants. So for Conquest, a lot of your feats are going to be apply this X amount of times. That's going to be an Omnicron, I would suggest. So again, we're going to say Master Qui-Gon, and we're going to say Padawan, Obi. That should be where your gear is going, right? So you've got 3 7-star characters objective that you need to be working on, and you've got 2 gearing objectives you need to be working on. So we'll start with that. We already touched on your fleet energy farm, right? Because that's all this is a game of resource management. Your fleet energy farm right now should be going towards getting your punishing one done. Now, I say that because it's going to carry you when you get ready to get into your executor farming. I'm not saying you're there yet, but other than that, if you look at this bounty hunter fleet, you are done with the ships, right? You are completely done with the ships to 7-star. Let's look at your Imperial, see where you're at there. So yeah, again, you look like you're on the cusp, right? You've got the bomber. You are ready to be talking about going for executor. So of course, that means then we have to pivot back to our characters and go back to where we are at with the, where is it? Piet. So Admiral Piet, definitely throw him in there. So that's going to give you 3 characters, a goal of 7-star. That's Bosk, Veers, Jedi Knight, Anakin. And that's going to give you 3 characters to be working on for gear. So that's going to be Piet. Okay? So, moving into that, there's your gear metrics. There's your 7-star metrics, which you should be working on. We already touched on some of your assault battles. Getting that Bosk is going to help you a little bit with Rebel Roundup if you're not already completing CT2. But into CT3, it's going to be more of your Imperial Troopers until you can get maybe like a Jabba, but that's down the road. So we've talked about the assault battles. We talked about some basic Bones teams. For now, unsure what you're working on or where you want to go. But again, having the Starkiller, having the SWGoH Press, having some early game GAC Omnicrons, just put your resources in supporting some of that, right? That's where you're going to need to do. You've got your Qui-Gon, you're going to get your JKA up and running, you're going to maybe invest in that Focus Datacron a little bit more with Wampa. So Wampa would be like the asterisk. Let's try and get them to at least relic 3 just for early GAC. So that would be Qui-Gon and Padawan, Obi-Wan, gearing-wise, and then Piet and Wampa. So that'll give you a couple of characters to look at towards chipping away your gear on. I get it might not be the shiny new hotness, but they're going to pay dividends long term. You're going to be able to lean on them. You do have both Revans, so you should be punching up quite a bit there. Let's go back to your Old Republic. Do you have... Okay, so you don't have the Zalbar, so that's not an Omnicron to think about yet. Although you do have Darth Revan. Your Sith Empire, looks like you've got the trio at least covered. So you can do some things there. Again, early on GACs, you can do some things, which explain how you're in Bronzium 4 already with only 3 million GP. So that would be my first initial takes. You work on those 7 stars of those 3 characters, Bosk, Veers, Jedi Knight, Anakin. You get the gearing up for your Jedi Bros, Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi. You get Piet. Go ahead and get Piet up and running. Get that thing going. And you get Wampa some gear to help you out just a little bit to go right now with that Datacron, or that focused Datacron, so that you can punch up there. Moving right along into that, outside other metrics, we're going to be doing your fleet node farming. It's going to be going to punishing one, taking care of that, getting it ready. Again, and that's just going to help, because my recommendation overall with this account is you're ready to start looking at, obviously, you want to finish the Millennium Falcon farm, which means getting the rest of that 6 and 7 star there. You've got your bounty hunter ships already ready. I would suggest you go ahead and look at going into the Executor. That would be where I would take this account right now. Let's go ahead and get you a meta fleet. Let's get you the Executor going. So for that initial account, I'm going to flip back to mine temporarily right now, so we can look at what that entails, right? So we're going to go to the Journey Guide. We're going to go down to the Executor and match this up, okay? So let's just check this off one by one. So we got Darth Vader at 7, Piet, that's going to be the piece that you need to work on. At an 8, you got Boba already at 8, so maybe you're already going that route since we saw Boba earlier at Relic 8. Dengar at 5, IG at 5, Bosk, and again, that's just going to play into what we were talking about. He needs to be up to Relic 5. And then for the ships, you've got TIE Advanced, Bomber, Houndstooth, Slave 1, IG, 2000, Imperial TIE, and Razor Crest. So that's going to be your pinch, is the Razor Crest and Piet. So let's see what we can do to figure that out, right? So right now, currently, when we go into ships, let's see, Bounty Hunter, your Razor Crest. Right, so you're going to have to work on BAM in order to get the pilot up and running. The actual Razor Crest is available at Fleet Arena. It's available in Guild Store. So definitely with some focused resource farming, you should be able to do some stuff there. So that would be my overall goals. So moving into that, let's look at what it takes for BAM. BAM is going to require Grief and IG, and let's get into that. Let's go back, refresh our memory a little bit on what that's going to take. Alright, so what that's going to take, solo journeys for BAM, alright? So, that's going to be IG, Mandalorian, Grief, Kara, and Quill, I believe. Right, yes, Quill. As you can see, I never took mine past Gear 12 to unlock BAM. So for the most part, yes, let's look at those metrics for you now and where you should be going. So let's see. 844. Oh. 688. All right, searching again. Inventory. All right, so you do have Mando at 7 stars. Looking, you got the IG needs some work. Yep, IG needs work. Okay, so it's IG on our radar, and let's see where we're at with. Are they scoundrels for Quill? And okay, so Quill. Needs some work there. And Kara, where's Kara? She's got to be in here, right? Oh, wait, she's a rebel. Rebel fighter, more specifically. There, okay, so Kara. Alright, so that seems to be your pinch point, is that Razor Crest. So, for your resources for stores, I would say your store resource refresh, you need to get the Razor Crest. You need to be getting that unlocked. Potentially, you might have it and it's just not visible because you don't have the pilot. But you need to get that up and running. So that's going to be, of course, using your Galactic War tokens to unlock 400 a day. Should not be difficult. Maybe even because you're so far away from getting the pilot right now in Beskar Armor Mandalorian, I would suggest you don't even do any refreshes on the store. You just wait through getting through time and just general here and there. Get the Razor Quest, get those blueprints done. So that would be where I would take this account. You're going to 7-star, finish up your Bosk, Veers, Jedi Knight, Anakin. Then you're going to immediately pivot into working on getting your IG 11, your Quill, and your Kara to 7-star to go with your Grief and Mando. Get Beskar Armor Mando unlocked. Be getting your Razor Crest shards. Get that blueprint done. Work on gear for your Jedi Bro, Master Qui-Gon, Padawan Obi. Get Piet up and running to gears. He does have to get to a Relic 8 eventually. Looking at everything else, you've got Vader at 7. You got Boba at 8. Your overall bounty hunters, Dengar. Dengar's going to need some gearing. IG is going to need some gearing. And then, of course, we already talked about you're going to be working on Bosk regardless if you're going for Executor right now or not, just because of the Houndstooth being the pilot and the heavy lifting that ship does. So, I would work on finishing your Millennium Falcon, going for your Executor, gearing up, again, the Jedi Bros, so that you can get some return from their assault battle. Slap that Omni on Padawan Obi-Wan, so when you hit your 4 million, you'll be able to do some work in your hard conquest mode, and that's going to help you as well when you get to 4 million and start doing your proven grounds. So that would be where I would take this account. Overall, very pleased with this account. It's very, very admirable. If I'm going to take the assumption like I did, looking again, I don't see the Lobot, I don't see Lando at those levels. I'm going to say you probably did not buy the pack just based on the fact that the telltale signs are there that you don't have them at those higher relics. So that means you did some farming. I'm not going to say you didn't buy some light speed bundles, but it looks like you didn't get the big bang for your bulk ones. So props to you on a focused roster, focused farming attempts. That tells me you've got the discipline to stick with it, and you'll be able to knock this thing out. If you go ahead and work on those metrics for Executor, I'd say you're probably looking, and I know it sounds like a lot, but probably a solid, based on the fact you've got Leia, you've got some Wampa, you've got Starkiller, you'll be able to get some of those rewards from your Gax, punch up a little bit. you're probably looking around Christmas. That's going to be what I say your goal would be. You can get the Executor, probably 3 months of just focused farming, putting all your resources into that farm. I would say you go ahead and it's time to get the Executor. Use that fleet energy to get Punishing One up and running, so that you'll have it. When you get that fleet going, it's allowing you to punch up. You'll be able to start taking top 5, if not first place daily with that. It does take out a lot of ships right now, a lot of meta fleets. So that would be where I would take this account. I hope that helped. Make sure to always give me your feedback when you see this. Let me know what you're actually working on, where you're going, and happy to help. And as always, in your SWGoH journey, you don't have to go alone, but you might want to go solo.